What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning into the Prototype podcast hosted by Infinite Prototype. I'm your host, Infinite Prototype. Today, I have a super chill episode of the podcast. I've got my boy Murphy Mayer, aka MSquared Customs. Murphy's an actor, cut and sew, couture, fashion guru. He makes clothes. He fucking puts them on people. That's what I'm wearing right now if you're tuning in to the video podcast. And yeah, we had a great conversation talking about fashion, how he got started, a little bit of acting, just talking about life, the world, living in New York City, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, cool. Thanks for doing this.
Oh yeah, I'm stoked to be here. In your apartment. It's very nice. Beautiful apartment.
It's a cozy apartment. You go by MSquared Custom.
Yeah, for the brand.
For the brand. What is the brand?
So MSquared Customs is kind of a cut and sew clothing brand. Right now I'm just really focused on one-offs, trying to make each piece as special as possible, not to be ever recreated. Like the suit you're wearing right now, one of one. This shirt here, little one of one button up. But yeah, a little taste of it, a lot more to be digested.
So how did you get into cut and sew?
Good question. So originally I got into clothing design in high school. I think I just was kind of bored of the same old routine with my friends and I, just getting into trouble after school, wasting the day away in the park. So I started isolating myself in my garage and customizing clothes. It started with a spray can and masking tape, and also kind of was built out of the need to, stay stylish and relevant within the school. My parents never gave me a ton of expendable cash, certainly not for like trends. So I always kind of had to, yeah. So I always had to just try to like create a fresh take and, create something for myself to stand out. Always.
So really born out of necessity and the need to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
As a young high school man.
Yeah,
I get it.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's interesting that you were starting off with just like spray cans and masking tape. And so like, were you inspired by like graffiti or writing culture at all? Was that like around you, or is it just kind of like skater / streetwear / internet?
Yeah,
all the above.
Definitely was like everybody else raised in the Y2K era, was certainly inspired by the skate culture and hanging out with graffiti artists. So I was really fascinated by the stencil craft in particular. So I tried to expand on, explore that a little bit. And then when cut and sew entered the picture was post-college, when I relocated to Chicago and fell into a really cool little art collective. Like, if I'm going to do this, again, trying to stand out, I was like, I better start learning to make this stuff by hand.
What was the name of the art collective?
Oh, that was Canvas Chicago, and have a lot of my really close friends and artists community strived out of there. So they really helped me. They supported me, and they were a huge inspiration.
Hell yeah. And so, where'd you grow up? What was the scene where you were at?
Scene was flat. I grew up in Central California. Might call it the armpit of California. Merced, actually, once upon a time, the meth capital of the world.
Nice. We love that.
Also, big agriculture scene. So I really, as a theater artist and class clown, really didn't fit in anywhere, as meth wasn't really my thing, or agriculture and big trucks. So I was able to just generate a nice little group of friends that were all kind of like-minded and like to venture and have a good time.
Cool. That's awesome. I mean, growing up in California is always interesting to me because I grew up in New York, so it's very different world. There's not as much access to agriculture here. Growing up in California, is there a big emphasis on style? Is there a big emphasis on how you present yourself, or is that more of just in LA?
I think it is more just in LA. Like, I do believe the Central Valley is a whole culture of its own that should stay in the Central Valley. But yeah, it was either like, it was definitely kind of the country kids versus like the town kids. I lived in town, and huge like Latino population in the town. So I grew up with a big Hispanic surrounding. Much loved the culture and the food. So the kind of had that, working class in the town, and then you kind of had the wealthy white kids out in the country with their huge lifted trucks that their parents bought them, their designer jeans, their Uggs. So there was like a big kind of divide with it.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about average, I think, for this country.
Yeah.
And so talk me through what it was like picking up and moving to Chicago. Like, what is the main like cultural differences between the two places, and like what was like that impact it had on you and your style and your work?
Yeah, so
1 second. Just a little bit closer.
Oh, thanks. So I didn't skip a beat. After graduating from college in Northern California with my theater arts degree, I relocated, and I was actually living with my grandma, the suburbs of Chicago.
Okay.
Knew that I wanted to get out to Chicago, get out to a city, and immediately start creating. And as I said, I quickly got connected with this Canvas Chicago, which was right around the corner of the first apartment. So
Lucky.
I was very fortunate to kind of fall right into a creative scene. And from there, I just tried to volunteer with them as much as possible. I was also pursuing like an acting career or life in the theater. So simultaneously, I was doing acting academy. So I was really fortunate. And then also the double-edged sword of hospitality industry.
Classic theater, hospitality industry, creative person.
Yeah.
So was theater always like a part of what you were doing, or was that like something that you picked up when you moved to Chicago?
No, I actually grew up in theater. Both my parents were theater artists. They met actually in the Renaissance Fair.
Oh, cool. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I'd say my acting career did peak pretty early as I was a baby, and I performed on stage nudity with John Hamm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was this naked baby, and I would hit my cue every night in the midsummer when the curtain would rise, the light would come down on me, and I'd lift my head up. Fairies would come jump over me. So, I'd say that was probably my big break.
Big break, still in diapers.
Yeah.
Only uphill from there?
A steady coast. I think I'm very thankful for every performance opportunity I've had and continue to have. There's something very therapeutic for me about acting that has justified me never going to therapy. But yeah, I think like just some of the discovery moments when you're on stage or you're in a class like is truly just like so rewarding goal for me personally.
And so has the clothing design and the theater arts ever crossed over for you? You ever do like dabble in like costume or like wardrobe?
Yeah. So you comfortable?
No, I'm good. This is nice.
Yeah, so while I was in Chicago, I was a co-founder of a theater company, and I did some performing, some directing for them, as well as some costume design. And when I was in college, for one of my senior projects, I wrote and directed and costume designed a play called Never Leaving Neverland.
Oh, Peter Pan. Were you Pan? Were you in tights?
Symbolically, I was Pan, but I couldn't bring myself to do the writer, director, star in.
Too much.
Yeah,
just too much.
Oh.
That's awesome that you're able to combine the two, but then they've kind of gone their own separate ways now, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I was really lucky. My first summer out here in New York, which was summer of 22, I
remember when you first got here.
Yeah, we had a pop-up that summer and it was really great, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without the help of like Joe Latimer and the art club space and like you, Julius Torres. I'll give him a shout out. He's always been with me since Chicago, since the Canvas Chicago days. But from there, I've been trying to, remount a second pop-up, and I really wanted to do it this fall, but, the realities of in New York City just did not quite allow it. So hoping to repivot to have a pop-up spring.
By reality, you mean financial constraints.
Yes.
Yeah. Just want to be clear that it is rough out here right now. Rent is ridiculous.
Really.
But I want to talk about pop-ups. So I want to dial it back a little bit to Chicago. And I want to talk about when did the name like MSquared, like obviously Murphy Mayer, MSquared, like that's fucking right on the nose, and like also just like it sounds great. But when did that like identity, that name first come about? When did you like make that transition to like cut and sew and like streetwear, like that you were like, this is it, this is my fucking thing?
So my dad always called me MSquared growing up, like here and there, just the name that they gave me. So I think that partially stuck, and then the customs was just to, try to, because there's other MSquared companies out there, so kind of trying to make it more, if it ever becomes legit and I get an LLC, like less competition there. But I also do think it's maybe kind of growing into maybe an MSquared couture, where the brand is developing. So we'll see. If it ever does go legit, I might revisit the whole brand name entirely. But
and when you say legit, you mean like your main source of income?
Yeah.
Like, because it is legit. You're putting in a lot of work right now. This isn't like bullshit. This isn't like a nonsense piece of clothing. Like, it's not falling off. Like, this is a nice piece of clothing that I'm fucking wearing. Like, you pick out good fabrics and everything. It's just not your primary source of income to survive right now.
Correct. Yeah. It's yeah, and it's like for the amount of time and effort it goes into, like I should be charging much more for these pieces, but I think kind of still trying to get my name out there here in New York. The sea of creative geniuses, and like everyone is so progressive and talented. Try to generate that as inspiration to myself and not let that kind of like for my creativity.
It's kind of intimidating out here.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of like great talent. There's a lot of people who are willing to be in your face with their shit. So it's like, it's a lot sometimes. Like,
I think like now that I've been here for a little bit over a year, I've been able to kind of like become a little bit more of, be more comfortable with just myself and like staying home and trying to be the best version of myself, as opposed to having to always be out and brushing elbows and networking. I mean, I love that, but it is exhausting. And at the end of the day, like you got to be producing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like people don't realize it's literally just about like how much time you actually spend making things. Like everyone thinks it's like, and I get it. Like when you first get here, there's endless events. There's endless parties. There's endless like this fashion event or this art event or this creator is doing this thing. And like, it's not necessary though. And I think that's like a big misconception that a lot of people have, because like everyone talks about your network and this and that. And it's like, everyone ends up just like going to parties and getting fucked up. And it's like, are you really networking? Like,
well, I mean, and in addition to that, now I feel like half of the creative process is actually documenting, spending the time to edit this content. And you got to stay so like religiously, like constantly sharing to expand it, which is almost more important now than the in-person networks, as like if you can generate this type of online community, I feel like that's even more valuable. But that takes time. I personally, raised in the 90s, I hate sitting in front of my phone trying to edit these videos. I don't like shooting the content, like just not the vibe.
It's a pain in the ass, and it's a whole other skill set. Like you're trying to like max out on like your sewing and your like apparel and like your designs, and then at the same time you have to be a video and content producer and editor, and it's just like crazy. It's frustrating. And I get it, because I'm trying to do the same thing.
Right.
It's the YouTube channel, it's now a podcast, and then my studio practice.
But
And
that's, I commend you because it's certainly no easy task. And like, it's, and the fact that you're staying diligent with it is only good. Well, only good will come out of that.
we'll see, man. I have not made a dime yet, so.
Been a while for me.
But no, like I think that's like important to note, like that struggle, that like I'm gonna increase that a little bit, my sensitivity on the mic. Sorry, but like I was saying, I think it's important to like talk about like online community building and how like you don't need to be like a person that's seen in public. You don't need to be at all these events. You don't need to have like all of these industry insider connections because of online communities, because you can, if you build like something that is like sustainable for you as a creative and something that people enjoy like interacting with online, you can build a whole business off of just that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think hopefully in the new year, like I have a little bit more time to kind of like practice that. I'll have some more time on my hands. I want to try and create like a silk screen rig, and if I can try and document that and share my learning experiences and make it easier for other people, like that would be nice.
I know it's a lot. Are you setting goals right now? Like, are you looking at this as like a serious? I'm sorry to cut you off there, but like, are you looking at this as like a, all right, I'm gonna set goals and I'm gonna like track my initiatives, and like, are you like taking those steps yet?
Small steps. I think like I do want to make sure the pop-up happens in the new year. I've been working on some new pattern making. I'm trying to like kind of push forward with maybe like some denim production, like with the button fly, which a lot of the stuff I've been making so far on the pants side of things have been more like leisure pants, like one size fits all type designs. So small baby steps, but I do want to become much more organized and more goal oriented. I don't like not meeting goals.
Yeah, just in front of your mouth,
right
like
there.
that, right? Like you want to be like talking right into that.
Got you.
So, like,
Thank
when
you.
Hold it down here like that. It's gonna get
Not
like
gonna work.
It's not gonna work as well. But yeah, goal setting is hard, especially if you're the type of person that if you don't live up to it, you're gonna beat yourself up over it. I've been trying something new where like I'm saying like I want to do this every other, like I want to post an episode every other week ish, or I want to go to the gym every other day ish. That for me has been helping a lot mentally, because I'm like, okay, I know if I go to like, if I say like I want to go to the gym every other day, I know when I don't go to the gym every other day. But if I say I want to go to the gym every other day ish, that's a little bit more manageable in my head.
The power of ish.
Yeah, literally the power of ish. But
well, I think it's funny like that you bring up, going to the gym too, because now as we're adults, like, there's just all these things that are constantly happening, laundry, like cleaning your apartment, like those things are important to me and my mental health. Like I need to live in a clean space. I need to have clean things around me. And like all that shit takes time and energy, and then you've got to work. And that takes a ton of energy, and you gotta like, I just gotta be a little bit more responsible with how I'm spending my energy nowadays.
Yeah, it's fucking tough, especially like again when like you see there's so much happening around you constantly, and you want like you're like getting FOMO, but then you're like, no, this is better for me to not do that shit. It's fucking tough, man.
Right. You want to spend less time on the internet, but at the same time be putting yourself out there more on the internet, and it's just like it doesn't add up.
It doesn't compute. It doesn't make any sense. But then the way I try to think about it is if you were starting a business like pre-internet, you'd have had to spend all your time in a store. Like you would have had to have like a physical storefront, or you'd have to be like going door to door trying to sell shit. Now you can have your life. You can have a side hustle. You could have it be like part-time for yourself. And you don't have to physically be somewhere. Like you don't have to bet all or nothing to make something get started, which is I think is like really lucky for us.
Yeah, I do think like with MSquared Customs, it's just like a consistency thing. Like someone once told me this quote that resonated with me a little too hard, like, not botch it. I want my art to work for me. I don't want to have to work for my art. Like, you know, I don't ever want to resent my art because it's not providing for me. But I want to like create when I feel it.
Yeah. That one's tough. It's because especially if you want to make a living from your art or you want to be financially independent because of your art, like that's always where that struggle comes in, right? Like you're like, I want it to work for me, but then also like I need to fucking treat it like a business, which sucks.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up and I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna be a starving artist. And now that you're like on the cusp of doing it, you're like, that's actually not quite as romantic as it sounds.
No, being a starving artist is not romantic, and I want that myth to fucking disappear from everyone's like existence. I don't like it.
New York girls do not like broke boys.
New York girls do not like the broke boys. But no one wants to be starving, and like it's not cool to be starving, especially when there's so much to go around. Like there's plenty of pie to go around. It's just like people make you think that there isn't, and it's bullshit. And that's just where I'm at with that. Like, I'm sick of this starving artist mentality.
Yeah. So,
anyway, going back to MSquared Customs, tell me about your first pop-up experience and what that was like.
First pop-up, I want to say it was a 420 pop-up in Chicago, in Pilsen. I was brought on, it was like a 420 celebration party, so there was DJs, another friend was catering the event, and they hosted me. I do believe I took a little microdose of shroom chocolate.
Nice.
Had a blast. We sold a ton of work. All my friends showed out. It was a really beautiful first experience.
And was that kind of like a moment for you where you were like, okay, this can be legit? Like, did it have that effect on you?
Absolutely. And I think it is just the diligence thing, like where it's just like the more you believe in it, because I think I do have a hard time, you know, I feel like I suffer from imposter syndrome sometimes, but then, you know, when you kind of look at like what you've done and like you're like, all right, you are worthy of, you know, this, like you deserve this. And so, you know, it's just a lot, but I do really love the journey of it because it will start with in the fabric store, touching every single piece of fabric, seeing like, all right, this is what I'm inspired to make from here, to cutting all the stuff, to sewing it all, to shooting the lookbook, to curating the pop-up. Like I really do love the process and I'm getting better at it. But it is difficult to do alone, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm the only one I can depend on. And all those steps cost money, which I'm happy to invest in myself, but it is challenging and it's a gamble.
Yeah, it is. And it's fucking scary. Did you like have a mentor, or are you like entirely self-taught in this process and business?
So my mother gifted me my first sewing machine and kind of showed me the ropes. From there, I took a sewing course or two and then kind of have reverted to YouTube University. But a lot of it is trial and error. I do think like at this point I do have a pretty nice spread of patterns. So I think this year I've been really kind of transitioning a little bit out of streetwear, proper streetwear, and more into like trying to do like leisure, more like what I really like would love to do is like be doing the couture thing where, you know, people are hitting me up for a commissioned piece so I can really kind of create this whole piece around this individual's ethos. Like, you know their shape, know their style, and they can like give me what colors, what kind of vibe they're going for, so then I can go out and source the materials for this bespoke piece that they're looking for.
And so like how do you accomplish that? How do you like make that transition? Is it a networking thing? Is it a like putting yourself out there thing? Is that more of like a...
I do think where my shortcoming is maybe the putting myself out there and following up with people, because people are all the time like, I got to get that piece. oh my God, I really want to commission you for this project. And I'm just looking at the phone. Oh, but because I don't know, I don't ever want to like be pushy or come off as desperate and like.
Yeah, but you gotta sell.
I know. Learn it. Gotta push.
You gotta push.
Gotta push a little bit.
Follow up. So one thing I learned from like working like corporate jobs is like follow up emails are just so fucking important. Follow up text, like otherwise like you don't get shit. People are gonna forget about you.
Exactly.
And deprioritize you.
Yeah, and I feel like I just like try not to take it personally. Like anything,
never personal.
You know, it's like right, exactly. But like my mind always is going right to like they fucking hate you.
The starving artist might be a myth, but the self-deprecating one is not.
No. All too real.
It's all too real. No, but that's valuable insight for someone listening, because I think a lot of people feel that way, where like they're getting hit up, people are like giving them props and like trying and saying like they're giving them genuine compliments, and they're like, I really want the thing that you're doing, but like people fucking forget, and like they're like, oh, you know, like whatever. But then if you hit someone back up, like they're like, oh shit, this person like wants me to want them, like they're serious, like that's cool, and then that might like jog them, and then that's how shit spreads. Like,
yeah, and I think like I'm trying to battle where it's like trying to make a profit, trying to get exposure, because ultimately the people I want in MSquared Customs are people like me, people who are out here like chasing a dream and grinding and doing anything to make it work, and they're not the ones who necessarily have $200 for a jacket, but like they're the people who embody the ethos of MSquared Customs. So trying to grapple the balance of that is another challenge.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, there's always different models, right? You can like apply one pricing strategy to like one group of people, like, and then you can apply another pricing strategy to another group of people. Like, you know, like you can charge like different prices based on who they're at or who you're working with. Like,
well, also, and I think like in the new year, hopefully a little bit more time, like in the goal of trying to create content and trying to do like more trades, so like more collaboration. So if I'm able to tap into other people's market to get more exposure, like that's obviously worth something. And if, you know, the pieces are cool and like they need to be seen, and I think I'm being a little kind of greedy, like harboring them all in my apartment, like hopes to showcase the big art show, but like they're just collecting dust right now. So I want it out there, and it's definitely the season for the jackets, but I want a show, you know?
Everyone wants the big show, but I will say, like, sometimes the big show, like, one little thing can throw the whole situation off, man. Like,
part of it. That's part of the experience, though. You know, just fucking taking the punches as they come.
What would an ideal like MSquared custom show look like?
Oh my God, spent a lot of time thinking about this.
Tell me, go deep.
I mean, I would love, just with my performance background, I will say Kid Super is doing a lot of these cool like ideas that I've kind of been thinking as well, like trying to implement more performance into it. Like my mom was a dancer, she's still a choreographer, so I would love to be like having like these performance happenings throughout the pop-up. Obviously you got the racks to showcase, but like having a fashion show, it's really tough because everything's one-off. So it's like, hey, it's going to be on a model, and then it's going to be on the rack, and then you should buy it, and then someone's sweating and dancing in it, and yeah, I don't know. And then I think I want to like maybe do some silkscreen prints, because I'm really trying to get on doing my own silkscreens in the new year, and prints and like different art pieces, so it's like it's not just so stale where it's like, oh, here we got some complimentary wine and look at the art, but like there's things happening around you and it's interactive.
Yeah, it's more of an experience rather than an art show, which art shows are not generally experiences. Had a whole conversation about this with my friends yesterday. Like they're doing something really cool with their art shows where they're making it more experiential, more interactive. They're like talking with people at the show, like they're opening it up to like being like a conversation icebreaker. You know, they're having like a free open bar. They're also charging $5 for admission, which is like not a high barrier to entry for an art show, which people are usually associating with free entry and like shitty wine. So it's interesting that you say that, because I think that's what a lot of people are feeling about creative industries right now. I think they're stale.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're like getting away with doing like the bare minimum, and like they don't have to innovate right now. And that's where like people like us can really have a moment to shine.
Right. And I think, it's like, I know Virgil was a big advocate of this, like, you create the space, and the space is art, then anything in it is art. I remember watching an interview speaking on that, and obviously it's got a lot of validity, and the environment is very important. And, it's like you want to have a space where people want to be, and like, you want to create that, for me, a sense of community. Like, community is definitely like at my core. Having friends around me, definitely very good for my mental state and like state of being. So having spaces where people want to be, ideal.
Yeah, having spaces where people want to be, and I don't know, it's weird, right? That like idea of community, because it's like, at what level does that like mean like more energy from you, and what, like, how much more interaction can you give in like a certain space? It's tough. It's tricky. I'm like,
well, I think all people want to belong. Like, I think it's just a matter of having this space where, and like, and inviting, and like, being open and not being a fucking pretentious asshole, and like being open to making new friends and like letting new people in, because it's the fucking lonely world. Like, every people are cooped up in their apartment. People are fucking broke, and like, it feels like you got to spend $100 to walk outside every day. And like, it'd just be great to have a space like Canvas, like in Chicago, which I'm sure they do exist, but it's a matter of,
I'm sure they
kind
fucking
of finding,
cost money here though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right.
Like, Canvas sounds like an art collective that would be here and just be like, yeah, it's like $250 monthly membership, and sometimes we get together and like talk shit.
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
I'm just teasing. I don't know anything or anyone at Canvas. I'm just teasing. But but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like always what it feels like to me here. Like, it's so tough to like find people that are like just like willing to hang out. That's why, like, RIP to Art Club. Like, that was cool. I hope Joe is able to open another space again.
Yeah. First, he's got to finish this movie we're shooting.
Dude, Joe, that movie is going to be so fun to watch.
It's going to be a cult classic.
It's going to be a cult classic.
Straight to cult classic.
I still have to interview and put out that episode with Joe that I did, or I still have to edit and put out the interview I did with Joe, but it might even be like outdated at this point. Like,
you shoot this year, or?
We did it back in August.
Okay. Yeah, it's like when we started shooting.
We did it like early August, I think. He was like the first person I talked to this year, and then I was just like, we were sitting over in there, and we were both on like the pink chairs, and it was hot. It was like not.
He was just sweating up a storm.
It was just not ideal. But Joe has great stories. Like, so.
Oh man, I don't doubt it for a second.
So I might just redo it with him. Like, I might ask him to just bear with me and just like redo the interview. But yeah, love Joe. What were we talking about? So it was really opportunity that drove you out here. It wasn't like, was there like the romanticization of it like part of it at all, or is it really just like, I can do it?
It really never was. I never even, like, if you would have asked me in 2022 if I saw myself in New York, it literally was just like, I said it once and I was like, might be kind of cool. I never thought about it, and often like just kind of talk shit about it. I was so like pro Chicago, I was so anti LA, anti New York. You get here and you start singing a different tune.
Everyone's always pro Chicago until they move here.
I mean, dude, Chicago, big Chicago advocate over here. But I do think, I really does feel sometimes like Chicago is Brooklyn. Brooklyn is Chicago. And then here in New York, you have 4 boroughs to explore as well. But I do see a lot of similarities.
3 other amazing boroughs. We don't talk about that other one.
Okay, right.
Don't say the S word.
Let's say it.
No, I like Chicago. I've been there once.
It's and I mean I think I'll be back there at some point, and I'm excited to kind of see what it evolves into. But I think another thing that really solidified my choice to come out here is I think the background of having performance and doing cut and sew clothing design and working in hospitality, all things that I could take to the main stage, for lack of a better word, for New York.
I mean, New York is fashion capital, like one of them at least. Fashion capital, streetwear capital, pop-up capital, like all those things that are like kind of integral to this creative space that you're operating in, like happen here and happen very consistently here. It's not like once a month, like there's one fashion event. It's like pick a weekend,
literally
like,
any day.
Pick a weekend,
throw a stone,
throw a dart. Like you'll fucking hit a fashion event no matter what. So like I want to talk about like streetwear a little bit, because like how do you feel about like the streetwear scene as a whole?
Well, I think something that I am conflicted with is how unsustainable fashion is. That's why I do not want to like just export my designs, have some kid across the world like making this in a sweatshop, bring it back here to try and like make a name for myself. That's why it's like I'm very set on making all my pieces made by my hand. So I admire every artist and their creative journey, but I do have kind of qualms with how unsustainable it is and fast fashion. And my favorite pieces are I've inherited from dad or my uncles. So
do you think streetwear has kind of just become like an umbrella term for
hoodies?
For hoodies, yeah.
Hoodies and baggy pants.
For hoodies and baggy pants, like.
Yeah, and I just feel like a lot of the designs, like when you see something original, you know it. But like a lot of it's just like, Adobe Illustrator, here's some designs, get it on a hoodie. But, I just love the people who are recycling stuff, going to thrift stores, upcycling, making things with their hands. That's the shit I'm interested in. And I think that is only going to continue to grow in popularity.
Yes, I agree. I think like the thrift store scene is like also like kind of tied to the streetwear scene at this point. Like it's just anything that you pick up that could like, I feel like it's almost like streetwear is like, this is like a personality type, and then this is a piece of clothing that's like opposite of that personality type. And if they like go together, it's like if like someone who's like super artsy is wearing like all decked out in like sportswear gear, like they're like, this is my streetwear. Or like vice versa, you know what I mean?
I mean, I wish I could even tell you what the pulse of the streetwear scene is right now, because some of this stuff I'm seeing out here, I'm like, okay, I would have never guessed you could put that together, but somehow
it doesn't make sense.
They're out here fucking pulling it off.
It's like it's like the term contemporary art. It's just like like literally everything.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if I look outside, I don't think I'm seeing streetwear so much anymore as kind of like this hodgepodge of, recycled Y2K garb. That's what's really happening right now. It's like a fucking fever dream of 2000s.
Literally, it's so fucking weird. Like it's like fever dream of Y2K, the resurgence of like shitty tribal, and
shitty tribal. Hold on, let me grab one thing for you. Yes.
We're getting an update. Murphy's taking off his shirt and he's changing clothes right now. Oh shit. What the fuck? I haven't seen that one. For anyone who's listening, Murphy just walked off and swapped into a vest that is like a white background with exactly what I was just talking about, a shitty tribal with like light red, light pink, like kind of undertones, like outlining the black swirls. If you're watching this on video, DM him because you're probably gonna want to buy this.
Pretty sick, right?
Yeah.
I have the sister coat that's already spoken for in the bag as well, but I was excited to share this. You said one of the trigger words. I was like, tribal. You have to try it on. But yeah, no, this is definitely a cool piece. I love this fabric. I sourced this in Hawaii, and I think like that definitely adds to the narrative of where it's like I'm not ordering any of these fabrics online. So often when I'm traveling, like I make a point to go out to fabric stores to like find these unique fabrics that you can't find just anywhere.
Yeah. Have you been, like, you obviously have been to that, like the garment district and like gone through the warehouses there, right?
Yeah. I mean, but those are so fucking expensive. Like they're just nuts. You know, it's like you gotta find, I mean, for me, like that they're expensive. So I try to find things that are a little bit more reasonable. Like, you know, you gotta look a little bit harder, you gotta dig a little bit deeper, but ultimately you are able to like find it.
Sick.
Find what you're looking for.
No, this looks fucking dope. A little inside pockets, kind of reversible.
Yeah.
Cute.
All right, now I'm in a cropped vest.
Buy it.
Yeah, so I mean, if I may just take this opportunity and encourage everybody who's listening or watching to get connected with the Instagram. It's MSquared.customs. I would love to get you in the community.
Yeah, at MSquared.customs on Instagram. Everything will be linked in the description of this episode. If you're watching it on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it'll all be linked there. All of Murphy's social media will be linked there. Do you have a website?
Under construction.
Website will be updated when he has it not under construction. Anything else you want to promote?
Definitely check out Randall when it's released. Hopefully, in the early next year. It's a short film there with Joe Latimer directing, writing, and starring in. Some people said it shouldn't be done, couldn't be done. He's going to prove them all wrong, folks. And stay tuned for the hopefully spring pop-up for MSquared Customs.
All right. I will keep everyone updated. When you have that, let me know. I'll include it on future episode promos.
Awesome.
All right. Cool. Thank you for doing this, Murphy.
Thank you so much, Dan. It was
Love
a blast. Love you too, buddy.
All right. Peace out, everyone.